When the cloud goes down, everything breaks. Operations stop, customers vanish, and reputations erode. But what if you were ready? What if your organization could lead through this disruption with calm, not chaos? I'm Bryan Strawser, Principal and Chief Executive here at Bryghtpath, and this is the Managing Uncertainty podcast. Today, we're diving into what might be one of the most underappreciated threats in businesses today, and that is large-scale cloud outages. And we're going to talk through what every leader needs to know about preparing for them. And this just happened. I'm recording this a little over a week after AWS had a significant outage that impacted Amazon Web Services users, including my company, across the board. So let's dive into this topic. When AWS or any major cloud provider, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, AWS, or others, goes down, this is not just a technology issue, and we can't think about it as just a technology issue. This is about having a full spectrum business disruption and this huge operational risk. The reality, though, is that most companies are not prepared for this kind of disruption. Too many organizations have outsourced critical operations and capabilities to cloud providers without building any redundancy. There's no meaningful continuity plans around some of these capabilities or disaster recovery plans, and without ever testing what would happen if those systems failed. Everyone assumes that failover is going to happen automatically, and it doesn't. A cloud outage is not just an IT disruption, it's a strategic, reputational, and legal risk that you and your company have to be prepared for. That's why here at Bryghtpath, we advise leaders to start treating cloud dependency as what it really is, a strategic risk that demands executive attention. So what does it look like to actually be ready? Well, it starts with having an effective, robust resilience program, and it starts with your business impact analysis. You have to identify your most critical business processes and understand all of their dependencies, technology systems or applications, people, third parties, cloud services, and more. Second, you have to build the right level of availability and redundancy. You should do this across cloud regions if possible and across multiple cloud providers if feasible. Third is that you have to test your plans, exercise your business continuity plans, and test your disaster recovery plans. And you need to test your plans or exercise your plans like it's real. No more tabletop-only scenarios. You need live failover exercises, simulated outages, cross-functional participation. Fourth, you need to have your crisis communications plan locked in. Cloud failures are highly visible to your clients and customers. Customers will be impacted, and you need to be able to communicate quickly, clearly, and consistently across the various audiences and stakeholders. And finally, you need to involve your executives and your board. They must understand that cloud disruptions are not just IT's problem. It's an enterprise-wide risk with real financial and reputational consequences. So this is really about building a resilience capability, not just checking the boxes, not just doing check-the-box shit like we talked about in a previous episode. So let's be clear here that when the cloud fails, business can stop. For digital-first companies, that means you have instant revenue and reputation impact. Transactions halt, websites can go dark, call centers can go offline, internal tools can stop working. But the real damage here is trust. Customers expect reliable systems. If your service isn't available, they won't stick around. They're not going to wait. They will leave and they will not forget what has happened. If you made contractual commitments to uptime, outages can trigger penalties and audits and litigation. And you also have internal chaos, teams that don't have access to key tools, and this slows down your progress. That compounds the problem. Boards have a responsibility here to think beyond just technical failure and beyond just the technology challenges and ask the bigger question, which is how do major cloud disruptions threaten our mission? And this is when we really start thinking about enterprise resilience. Boards should demand that you have an integrated resilience program that connects business continuity, crisis management, IT disaster recovery, and crisis communications. There should be clear accountability and ownership for this mission. And there should be regular scenario-based exercises, specifically involving third-party failures like this. And there should be reports back to the board on exercised and tested capabilities, not just updates on the number of plans. You want to be maturing the program, not just demonstrating that you're running the program. This is not just about having a 300-page plan in a binder. Please don't have a 300-page plan. It is about building the organizational muscle memory that can flex under pressure and still perform when the time comes. When you are in the wake of a major outage, leadership matters more than ever. So here's the playbook. First, stabilize operations. Get your critical systems back up. Inform your stakeholders what's going on. Communicate early and often. Second, when it's over, conduct an after-action review and be brutally honest. What worked here? What didn't? What gaps became clear? What are we going to do about it? And third, you want to use the moment. Outages like this are teachable moments. They create urgency. So find ways to capitalize on that to build long-term improvements in resilience. These are your best moments to lead inside your organization with transparency and to show that your organization takes resilience seriously. And remember that it's not just about AWS, and it's not just about the cloud. Boards and executives should be preparing for a range of high-impact, low-frequency technology disruptions. Cloud region failures, like we saw in this case, ransomware and cyber extortion events, cascading software failures and bad patching, key vendor or SaaS platform disruption, major telecom or network outages, and AI and automation misfires, especially in customer-facing systems. All of these scenarios need to be in your resilience planning and practiced or tested regularly. Do not let your planning stop at just your internal systems. Your risk exposure extends across every digital and operational dependency that you have built. So let me leave you with this. Resilience is not just about a document. It is a capability, one that is integrated, maintained, exercised, and aligned with your company's strategic objectives, the strategy of your business. Companies that prepare well will recognize the truth that you can't assume your systems will just bounce back. You have to prove that your organization can coordinate, communicate, and continue operating even when the core technology fails. Muscle memory with your crisis team matters. So do practice. So does simulations and exercises. So does executive and board engagement. Because when that next disruption comes, and it will, you'll want to be the organization that leads with poise, not panic. That's it for this edition of the Managing Uncertainty podcast. I'll be back next week with another new episode. Be well. Thanks for watching our video. To learn more about how to manage uncertainty and disruption in your organization, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to our video channel. And here are a few more videos that we've selected that will help you learn more about business continuity, crisis management, and crisis communications.